What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, family? How are you guys doing? How is everyone doing out there today? Put some ones in the chat if you can hear me. Put some ones in the chat if you can hear me. I want to know that you guys can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me clear. Put some ones in the chat. I want to go ahead and just welcome you all for coming out, for showing up, being on the different platforms that you guys are showing up on. I know that there's different time frames across the world, and you guys are taking the time to say, look, I want to dive in and be a part of the Mr. Boston's Leadership Summit. And I'm truly super excited to have you all today. There's been so much weighing on my mind, and I know that you guys have had a fantastic week, but now you're back. Now you're back, and we're here for the purpose of information. But then what do we do with information when we get it, right? What do we do with it? What do we do with information? Are we just getting information and storing it up? Or are we getting information and applying that information in our lives, right? So it's like you having body lotion, but you just look at it every day and never use it after you've taken a shower, and you're like, but I have dry skin, but you don't use the lotion to solve the issue of the dry skin. Does that make sense? So it's like information. You get the information, you take in the information, and whatever in that information that came in that you can apply to your life, then you apply it to your life, and then you continue moving. That's the amazing thing about joining this leadership summit and being a part of the movement. So I welcome you guys. I want to tell you guys, go ahead and tag a friend, tag a friend, tag a friend. It's always good to invite at least 2 people to this call, because you should understand that the more you serve, the more you give, then it comes back to you. Don't just hoard the information. Don't just say, "No, this is my call. I want to be on this call." Go ahead and share it with 2 people. I think they'll appreciate the information coming across to them, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm super excited. Grab your pen and pads and let's dive in. If you're driving and you have a passenger beside you, maybe they can take notes in the phone, because it is really good to have the notes and the information handy to where you can review it, right? And that's really what we do with information. When we get it, we have to process, and we review it and then reprocess so that we can interpret and understand. And I'm hoping you all can understand this journey with this leadership summit, because it's been a phenomenal thing being on this journey with you guys. And I love it, because the more information I am able to acquire, I want to just pour it out onto you all. So let's go right on in. Let's jump right on in. I'm going to try to move through this as quickly as possible. So I want to make sure that you guys are taking copious notes, and I want to make sure that you guys are paying attention, okay? I want to talk about this subject because it's really been on my mind. And when you all write in and say, hey, this is some of the things that I want to hear, and this is some of the things I want to talk about, these are some of the things that would love it if you can teach on. My team and I, we take heed to these things, and I dive into studies if I haven't been studying that particular thing already. And we all do. And then information comes across, and we look at it and we analyze the information, and then we decide what we're going to teach or train on. So this has really been a big thing in all of our lives. And this is why I am so passionate about this. It's been a big thing in all of our lives. And I really want us to look at this from a standpoint that will change your paradigm, because this is a shift that we're going to discuss today. This is a major shift, because a lot of the times we hear this and it seems simple. It seems simple. Now, today's topic, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to talk about on the Leadership Summit, today's topic is, what is your job? I want you guys to write that down. What is your job? Now, you hear that, and most of you're saying, well, what do you mean? What is my job? Right? What do you mean, what is my job? If you're employed with someone, right, an employer may ask you to describe your job or describe your job responsibilities. An employer may ask you that. You say, what is my job? Well, I work somewhere. Well, if an employer asks you, describe your job responsibilities, right? That information, they may be requesting information about your current job responsibilities to gain an idea on how your duties and experience relate to the responsibilities of their role. That's why they may ask that idea. when an employer asks, explain your current job responsibilities. See, that employer, they may feel, right, as if they may feel more confident about hiring you for the role if they know you have completed the similar tasks and projects before. What is your job? Okay? If you have responsibilities similar to the ones in their role, I want you to think about this for a second, then it often means you can complete their company's project with limited training from them because you already came fully equipped, understanding your responsibilities and your role from the previous job. So again, I ask you, what is your job? You hear that I said when an employer may ask this question, say, what is your job? Some of you, you've ever said, but he's just talking about job. He's just saying, what is your job? Well, let's look at it this way. We asked about an employer. I just said an employer said something. Now, let's look at the context now from what the good book, what God says in regards to that, right? One of the things that was said, he said, work willingly at whatever you do. I want you to hear this, right? Work willingly at whatever you do as though you were working for the Lord rather than people. Work willingly at whatever you do. I want you to understand the importance of this, right? This is important. Remember that the Lord will give you an inheritance as your reward. That's what the good book says. I think it's Colossians 3, verse 23 to 24. For those who are scholars or who want to go and look it up and read it. It says, work willingly at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. But I just asked you, what is your job? And I said, if an employer asks a question based on the responsibilities, these are the things that you will say. Now, the thing is that Proverbs 16 says, commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will succeed. Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will succeed. Again, I ask you, what is your job? Because when you heard this in the beginning, you're saying to yourself, well, it's talking about, I'm a fireman, or I'm a policeman, or I'm a pediatrician. What is your job? Think about this really well. Think about what is your job, because these things are very important. So let me look at this from the standpoint of us being in the economy that we live in and having to work a job as how you currently might be looking at this, right? So then I would say how to answer, describe your current job. If I say, listen, describe your current job, your responsibilities, describe it. If I said to describe it as what we mentioned before, what is the desired role? That means you should provide detail or a detailed example and instances involving how you are and your skills and your qualifications. If I am asking, describe your current job. I'll say that again. It should be examples on how your skills and your qualification is for that particular job. What are you bringing to the table? That will be of a contribution to the employer that you're seeking work from. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, guys, go ahead and put 1 in the chat. I'm going to move too fast because I want to make sure I get to the point of where I'm going. I'm going to move fast. But if you guys understand me, put 1 in the chat. If you guys understand me, put 1 in the chat. I want to make sure that you guys are following me. Okay? So I want you to understand this. Let's talk about some steps, ladies and gentlemen, right? that will teach you or that will help you to learn how to describe your current responsibilities if you were being interviewed. Let's talk about some steps. If you are being interviewed, here are some steps to describe your current responsibilities to that interviewer, okay? Number one, remember the responsibilities listed in your resume. See, when you are going for that job, or when you're professing that you want this job, there is a blueprint that has to be in place. And that blueprint is translated into documents called a resume when it comes down to a job dealing with mankind and an employer that is looking to understand those skills. So number one, remember the responsibilities listed in your resume. I want you to understand when you get asked this question, how you should flow to be able to answer it. Remember the responsibilities listed in your resume. That's number one. Because as you prepare to answer a question of an interviewer, think about the responsibilities and the duties you've listed in your work experience. Ooh, I'm coming to y'all. I'm coming, y'all. I'm coming. Think about those duties that's listed in your work experience. I want you guys to think about that. That section of that resume that you listed in. If you sent your resume to the hiring manager beforehand, your interviewers may have already seen your responsibilities, the things that you've done. They saw it because it's listed in the resume. And they're expecting for you to elaborate on these duties in that interview. Ooh, I'm hoping somebody is following me. I'm hoping somebody is following me. What is your job? Number two, connect your responsibilities to the ones in the job posting. Connect your responsibilities to the one in the job posting, okay? Once you have an idea of the responsibilities mentioned in the resume, once you have that idea, you can begin explaining these duties, ladies and gentlemen, and responsibilities. You can begin explaining them. This is extremely important. You have to be detailed to the interviewer. You have to try to remember the responsibilities listed in the job posting and connect your current responsibilities with those mentioned in the posting. This is important for you to know and for you to understand. What is your job? Number three, use details when explaining your larger and important projects. Use details when explaining your larger and important projects, okay? That means simply that you have completed many projects before and tasks when working at your previous position. That's what that means. You've completed those things. So you have to now be detailed about those projects and those major things that you have done. You have to be detailed. You have to explain those things. Try to mention only the projects that are more impressive when you're dealing with an interviewer or an employer. Something that's related closer to the position you're being interviewed on or interviewed for. I want you guys to follow me. Now, number four, describe how you use your skills to benefit the company. Describe how you will use your skills to benefit the company. Write it down. Describe how you will use your skills to benefit the company. Describe how you will use your skills to benefit the company. I want to make sure that you guys are there with me. I want to make sure that you guys are there with me. See, as you explained your job responsibilities, you should explain how you use your skills and qualification to complete your job duties. How? How did you do it? You have to explain these things. You can detail which skills applied, which completing skills applied to the task at that period. How did you complete that task? What are the skills that you use to complete that task? This is important. For example, guys, you can mention how you've used your communication skills. Let's use that for instance, to collaborate with a client daily to meet their needs and answer their questions or any questions that they may have. You can do that. Now, I want to go back on what you all heard a while ago, because you're taking it in and you're saying, oh, wow, I'm hearing this. What is my job? And I'm hearing him talk about remember the responsibilities listed in your resume. I'm hearing him saying connect your responsibilities to the ones in your job posting. I'm hearing him say use details when explaining your large and important projects. I'm hearing him say describe how you will use your skills to benefit the company. But I'm already working at a job. So what is he telling me? Oh, I already know this. So what is he telling me? But then I said, what is your job? I said, what is your job? What is your job? I want you to think about that. What is your job? Now, when we talk about the what is your job, I said to you guys, Proverbs 16 says, commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will succeed. So what is your job? What really is your job? Come on, somebody. What really is your job? Are you looking at your job from the physical attribute of working for man? Or are you looking at your job that the purpose is much bigger? That when he said, work willingly at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Creator. What is your job? I want you to hold on to that. I want you to think about that. What is your job? Am I being effective in the areas of understanding how to describe who I am? Am I being effective in describing the responsibility of the job that I decided that I'm going to stand up to and what I decide that I want to do? How effective am I being? Do I understand that I need to be extremely detailed because I should obtain information? And that information that I obtained before I decided that I will take on this responsibility, I will make sure that I interpret that information and be able to understand. So now that I've interpreted and I understand that information, I have been painting a resume of faith, a resume of belief, a resume that is a spiritual resume that goes out before my presence even arrive. What is my job? Woo! Do I understand that before my physical get to anywhere, that I already know the blueprint and I've already looked at the posting? What is the posting? I said that I'm showing up and I'm showing up for greatness. So now I need to know, what is greatness? How do I explain and break down my gifts that will allow me to be attached to this greatness? Come on, somebody, if you're with me, I'm with you. If you're with me, but I'm with you. Because see, some of you hearing this, what is my job? But you're caught on, well, keep talking about just working. Yes, I'm talking about working, but I'm talking about working for the better and the good of greatness, the spiritual aspect of working, the spiritual aspect of working. How do we show up in our spiritual? Come on, somebody, to get what we need in our physical. What is my job? What is your job? Ask yourself that question. You got to keep asking yourself that question because it's extremely important. Now, here's the thing. Some of you may hear this and you said, okay, well, all right. He talked about describing how my skills will benefit me with this organization, with this company, right? So when you show up and you are going to describe the current responsibility, you should provide that detailed answer, that list, your duties that give you much, that can give much details as possible, that so someone hearing it would be able to understand that it's a full picture that you're painting. You got to paint the picture. Because the individual that you're showing up to have already read your resume. So ask yourself, if I said I want to show up, but the one who already knows who I am, the one who already knows whose I am, already knows the resume. So now, how am I showing up before the one who knows who I am? To be able to give details and explain my responsibilities in the role that I had, that I'm trying to transform to this new role. Come on, somebody. What is my job? There is a role that we all play. And then there's times that we realize that we have elevated and we need to step into a new role. But the new role that we're stepping into have certain requirements. But because we've been trained up, we have gone through the ring, the ups and the downs and the ebbs and the flows and the peaks and the valleys needed to happen so you could be tried and tested and go through preservation because you persevered. And now you're coming out on the side of understanding and wisdom because the knowledge was already obtained. So now you can be detailed with the information because of the posting, because of where you're trying to show up to. Come on, somebody, if you're with me, put some fire emoji in the chat. If you guys are with me, put some fire emoji in the chat. I want to make sure that you guys are walking in alignment with me because we're talking about one thing in two slots. Somebody, one thing in two slots, because we're talking about a physical and we're talking about a spiritual. And if we want to elevate to anywhere in our lives, we need to understand our job. What is your job? I want you to keep asking yourself that. Because see, if you were an analyst, a data analyst, during that position as a data analyst, most likely you've completed tasks, right? These are some examples I want you to hold on to. Most likely you've completed tasks and projects that provide valuable data for a leadership team in the company that you might be seeking or the company that you work for. So now you've used your analytic skills and the technological skills to gather data regarding that company. So now these are things that you have done. So you have to understand it and you have to make sure it's detailed because the one who you're sitting before is already looking at it. And all you are doing is showing up to proof up what you've put on the resume. That is who you are. Ooh, ooh, I'm hoping somebody following me. Ooh, Because see, some of us, we take that blueprint and change it up. And it's really not who you are. See, there's a resume, but you're coming with a res. There's a resume, but you're coming with a res because you are not who you say you are. So you cannot be in depth and details about the responsibilities because, come on, ladies and gentlemen, it is not who you are. So now that resume that's being looked at from that employer, that resume that is being looked at from your father, see, that person already knows, the creator already knows who you are. So you first got to understand, when you're about to step in to that place, you got to understand, what is my job? Come on, somebody. You got to understand, what is my job? Am I serious about my job? Am I going to seek and gather information that I will apply to interpretation and understanding to be able to walk in alignment with that job? Or am I only going to paint a picture that when I get there, I cannot even add up to how that picture looks to the one who's viewing that resume? Ooh, I know I'm talking to somebody right now. Here are some things that I want you to write down really quick, guys. Things that you can say about your job. Here are some things that you can say about your job, right? First, I want you to think about this. I want to ask you this. What do you love about your job? Let's do that exercise real quick. What do you love about your job? What do you love about your job? Now, I need you all to hear me, but understand me. Hear me, but understand me. What do you love about your job? Because see, when you start walking in alignment, then you will understand that one of the things that is favorable about a job is the collaboration. You should write it down. Collaboration. What are one of the other things? The work-life balance that job will bring to you. That autonomy that job will bring to you. The variety that job will bring to you. The culture that job will bring to you. The challenges that job will bring to you. But in all, helping others is what that job will allow to happen for you. I want you guys to think about this. When you're in the collaboration space, you're saying, I love my job. Because what? Everyone shares the same vision. When you're collaborating, everyone shares the same vision, and they're dedicated to a mission, to the mission of the organization, to the mission of your creator, to the mission of the purpose. That's the collaboration, ladies and gentlemen. And from being in a collaborative space, you have a work-life balance flow. You have a work-life balance flow. You have that it is a great degree of control and freedom with your job. Because if you cannot have a great degree of control and freedom, then you're locked up in a cage. So you got to have that work-life balance flow so that you're comfortable in your collaboration space. You have that autonomy. I talked about that autonomy. You have, because why? You have it because Your bosses are those that oversee things on the journey, allows you to be innovative. You can be innovative in this space. You're not being held down. You're not being micromanaged. You have that autonomy. And that leads you into the variety of things that comes to you, always evolving, always changing. That variety of things that come into your space, watching the process, how amazing some simple ideas grow into a nationwide idea, how a simple business grow into a nationwide business. The variety, but then the culture, because see, when we move in alignment and we have these things that I'm talking about, there's a culture that you should have, that any job should have, that you should be moving in alignment with. There should be a culture that allows you to flow right. You may be at a job that says, okay, well, guess what? It's the tournaments for us that we do. Love the culture. Is the way that we celebrate those when they elevate to another level. The culture is the way that we love on each other and the way that we admire those that put these things in place, and we do it consistently every month. The culture. What is your job? What is your job? But you see, along with it all, the challenges makes you who you are. The challenges makes you who you are. See, you have to look at it that you must go through a process. The challenges is so great. You love how that boss loves on you, believes in you, pushes you to new endeavors, to see you grow. Because you're not just sitting duck. You got to go through some things to get to another level. Because once you have gone through the challenges, then you're able to now look and help others. Because now you have information and you have knowledge. So now you're able to help others. You're able to help others grow. You're able to help others elevate, because the job is not worthwhile if you're experiencing or expecting to trade your time for dollars. Come on, somebody. The job is not worthwhile if you're expecting to trade your time for dollars, because the essentialness of that job is all put together for you to be able to serve someone else through the gift that has been given to you. What is your job? Come on, people. What is your job? I need you to understand something. I was reading the Bible the other day, and I struck up on, I was talking about Colossians to you guys a while ago. And earlier in it, the actual chapter, the verse before that, not the chapter, on verse 3, it says that, therefore, when we work, listen to this, when we work, we resemble him. Therefore, when we work, we resemble him. So work is not a way to punish you. I want you to understand. You're being blessed because you're working in honor of your creator. I need you to hold on to that and think about that for a second. What is your job? You want to elevate to places in life. You want to acquire the things that you seek. You want to get to a level that brings comfort. You want the people around you to get to a level that brings comfort. You said, I don't want to leave anyone behind. I need all of us to win. But yet, you do not understand your job. Because if you understood your job, then you will understand the exact thing that I just said to you. You will understand that the purpose of the job is to walk upright and work in him, because it is something to do because of the grace that he's given to you, because the success is already yours. But the work must be performed. But you must first identify your job, identify your role. What is your purpose? Come on, somebody. If you guys are with me, type with me. What is your purpose? You must identify your role. What is your purpose? See, a job may be important for a sense of purpose, since it can provide what? It can get you towards your goals and provide money, to income, to support your lifestyle, to support you living. Absolutely. Absolutely. But you got to ask yourself, what is my purpose? What is the most important job in my life? What is the most important job in my life? What is the most important job in life? Let me ask you that. What is the most important job in life? You know, after carefully analyzing that same question, I realized that, in my opinion, one of the most important jobs in life is teaching. Is the most important job in life. Teaching is the most important job in life. Why is it? Because the quality of any nation, ladies and gentlemen, the quality of any nation's education cannot exceed the quality of its educators. I need you to hold on to that. The quality of any nation's education cannot exceed, right, the quality of its educators. So it simply means that you need to continue to be taught to acquire the information that you will interpret and then take it right back out to understanding it, after applying it. In that, you will find the purpose. Because you're not in search for the purpose, it's already in you. Come on, somebody. You're not in search for the purpose, it's already in you. Excuse me. It is already in you. But once you follow these steps, then you will understand how to ignite the spark that is already there, how to bring it up, how to allow it to flare, how to allow it to roar and blow out, that now you will travel the path that is necessary to get you to where you need to be. So the things that you must endure are things to elevate you to what is already yours. But if you do not understand or know what is your job, then you lack what is required and the ability to be detailed with your responsibility for the things you're trying to acquire. I hope I didn't lose you guys right there. I hope I didn't lose you. I want to make sure that you guys understand exactly what we're talking about, because this is extremely important, ladies and gentlemen. This is extremely important. What is your job? Do you understand what your job is? See, a lot of the times, most of us, we wake up feeling purposeless. It's incredibly frustrating. You wake up, oh my gosh, I feel purposeless. You look around and you see your friends and coworkers having this passionate life. They're engaged in meaningful lives. They have deep relationships. All of these amazing things are happening. And then you're saying, what about me? What's going on? Why am I not in this space? But see, you have to know who you are, because there is always something good in store for all of us. You don't believe that you were intended to live a life that was painful, that will hurt you, but don't have an outcome of greatness. You can never think that. Because if you do, you're missing the very purpose of your existence. Come on, somebody. I need you to follow me. So let's look at this really quick, right? Let's look at a few things that I want you guys to really document that will help you on this journey. I want you guys to document a few things that will help you in this journey. You know, I said to you guys, as I was studying the good book and I was reading, and you know, I read Psalms. I was reading the book of Psalms, and I remember an area in it. It says, "Lord, for you have been my help, and in the shadows of your wings, I will sing for joy." When you are in that hopeless space, knowing that you have help bigger than you can even imagine, is one of the things that will be able to pull you out of the dark and bring you into the light. So let's look at some things really quick so that we can round up. Let's look at some things really quick so that we can round up. Let's look at some things that will get you the 6 things that you may say that, well, I'm not doing these things, or this may not be happening, that literally have you in a position where you're not living in that purpose at the time, right? Let's look at some things. You're blatantly living not in accordance with how the atmosphere, the universe operates. You're not living in accordance with it. You're not treating a fellow man the way you wish to be treated. You're not showing love, and you're not giving. You're not living upright. That's one thing. You're blatantly living in a way not in accordance to how the human race should live. I'm hoping somebody's following me. The next thing to know that you're not living in your purpose is you lack joy and excitement. Write it down really quick. You lack joy and excitement. These are things that you will know that, wow, I'm not living in my purpose. The next one is you don't feel much fulfillment in life. You don't feel much fulfillment in life. Sure, you write it down. See, if you go about your days experiencing little fulfillment, you may be wondering, like, what's going on here? Where's my purpose? I don't have one. You don't feel much fulfillment in life. The next one is you work so that you don't have to work. Ooh, I know somebody needed to hear that. These are things that will tell you you're not living in your purpose. You work so that you don't have to work. You heard that? You work so that you don't have to work. See? So you know the feeling of pointless work. This is what I'm talking about. You go to the office, you clock in, do your job, then you go home and you collapse in front of the television. You work so that you don't have to work. Y'all know somebody like that? I'm pretty sure we know a few people like that. The next one is you feel stuck. You feel stuck. And the other one, the last one is you have no direction. You have no direction. You feel stuck was before that. And the last one is you have no direction. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know the purpose for your life, I need you to understand this, right? You constantly will feel a sense of aimlessness if you don't know the purpose for your life. You feel as though you're wandering from thing to thing without any forward progress. That's what happened when you have no direction. But I want you to understand, with all things that takes you in the valley, there is also greatness that brings you out. So write down these few real quick, and then what I'll do on the next leadership call, I'll just kind of dive in a little bit about these few that will lift you up and bring you out, okay? Right? These few that will lift you up, right? 6 things to regain your purpose. Write it down. 6 things to regain your purpose. 6 things that will help you to find it, that will help you to pull it up, pull it out of you. 6 things. My first that I wrote down on my list is go to the Creator in prayer. See, it means everything when we can pray. See, some of you might be saying, but I'm not religious. This has nothing to do with religion. Because see, we got to understand how the laws of the universe work. So we have to give to receive. We have to sow to reap. So the first step in moving towards that regaining of that purpose, I'm telling you to go in prayer to the Creator. It's obvious because you need direction. So when you set things in motion, you already had a negative motion reoccurring. So now we're changing things and we're starting a movement that will allow you to be lifted up. So number 1, go to the Creator in prayer. Number 2, dig in to the word of greatness. Dig into life's word, how a man should live, how upright you should live. Study that same good book. Study books that allows you to grow. Get to start studying self-help books that will put you in a mindset that will be stable, one that will allow you to grow, one that will shift your paradigm. Dig into those books, dig into the word, dig into the text. It is essential for your life. Direction is key when seeking purpose. Number 3 is determine your gifts and your strength. Determine your gifts and your strength. I'm just going to run through it and we'll talk about the rest later. Determine your gifts and your strength. The next one is determine your passion. Determine your passions with an S. Determine your passions, okay? The next one is bring others into your life. Bring others into your life. I'll give you a few here. I think you need a few. Bring others into your life. The next one is take a solitude retreat. Take a solitude retreat. That simply means, guys, that sometimes you need to get away. But be in peace, be in still. Mind, body, sound, be easy. Quiet your mind. Take a solitude retreat. Take a solitude retreat. And in the end, overall, trust the process. Trust that all things created was created to work in alignment with you. So if you give off negative air, that is what will be coming back at you. And if you give off positive air, that is what will be coming back at you. But there is steps that must be taken because you, my friends, must understand your job. So when you go out and someone now asks you, what is your job? You know now how to say to someone, I am working willingly at whatever I do, as though I am working for the Most High. See, your job is to work willingly, whatever you do. Because once you work willingly, you are giving off great energy and great vibe to the atmosphere. to the universe, which then puts these laws that are in effect go into play to give you back the energy that is required and the information that is needed for you to apply yourself. So as you move forward this week, as you move forward into your life, as you move forward into the lives of those that you come in contact with, into the lives of your families, into the lives of your office, your coworkers and your colleagues and the team that you've built, understand that now you know my job. Now you know who I am. Now I understand the assignment. Now my purpose risen. Now the flame has been blown out. Now I will be able to be detailed and explain my responsibilities to the position I seek, so that the one who is looking at my resume will smile and put me in the place that I seek. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so grateful for you all joining me this week. I'm so grateful for you all joining on this Leadership Summit. I am so grateful for you guys coming and being a part of this movement, and understand that wherever you are in the world, that the information that comes to you, please take note, take heed, interpret it, study it. Whatever you want to use of it, use it. Whatever you don't want to use, then you don't use. But make sure that the information does not get stored and hoarded, so that you will not be stuck in the same place a year from now, but will elevate because you understand the assignment and because you know your job and its purpose. So I thank you guys for joining me. Go out and have a fantastic week. Be amazing as you always are. And I hope to see you guys on the next Leadership Summit. Love you guys. Have a fantastic, fantastic rest of the week. Bye now.